Player versus player. Dampening now begins immediately in 2v2 and skirmishes. So you guys might already think it's in, but if it's like a DPS, like double DPS versus healer DPS, it's not in immediately. Now it will be in immediately. Every time you join a 2v2 game, no matter what, it's automatically going to start in dampening. I think that's fine. Prestige level 9 has been added. Shouldn't affect us, well, most of us. Artifact traits at 35 points and above are now enabled in PvP. I'm going to talk about this one in just a second. Damage caused by Soul Rip, Shadow Nova on the trail, and Shadowy Apparition should no longer break control effects. Oh, okay. I think that's kind of a cool change. I would randomly get broken out of polys from Shadowy Apparition stuff. Honor talents that replace taunt effects for each tank specialization now cause their original taunt effect to be applied to non-player targets. I don't know what that means. All right. Artifact traits at 35 points or above, I think is going to be really, really bad for PvP. So anyone has artifact trait 35 automatically gets 15%, or excuse me, 5% damage. Anyone has all the way up to 54, I think what it goes up to, has 14.5% damage increase. Obviously, people that are further along in their artifact are going to do much more damage. The reason that this is really scary is that on a 1-to-1 ratio, I think damage outweighs healing, and then you got to understand that there's 2 DPS in one arena and there's only 1 healer. So not only at a 1-to-1 ratio do I feel like damage outweighs healing, there's going to be 2 DPS, which obviously outweighs 1 healer. So, you know, if you're silenced, if you're stunned, if you're sheeped, if you're any type of CC'd, that burst from damage is going to be absolutely insane. I don't think healers are going to be able to keep up with it. It's also going to make you feel even further behind if you don't have those traits. It's going to be really difficult for people without those traits to do well in arena. It's going to be even more difficult for people with the traits that are facing other people with them to even kind of survive that kind of damage. You got to think that every class that we've read so far, every single DPS spec without fail has gotten damage buffs. So to get damage buffs in a PvP situation and then get more damage buffs, it's really crazy. Alright, so class adjustments. This is player versus player. Blood Death Knights deal 10% reduced damage in PvP was 15%. Okay, so they're buffing Blood Death Knights. Blood Drinker now deals 40% reduced damage in PvP was 100%. Oh wow, that's I don't know what that does, but hopefully it doesn't hit too hard. Havoc, this is the DPS spec, right? Idler Thoros now deals 6% total target's health was 4%. They buffed Eye. You should be dispelling that. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Rushing Vault and Pinning Glare have been removed. Don't know what that is. Demonic Origins. The cooldown Metamorphosis is reduced by 2 minutes and now lasts 15 seconds. While not in Metamorphosis, your damage is increased by 10%. This talent feels really good in PvP. From what I understand, Metamorphosis is basically your kill window as Demon Hunter. So instead of a 4-minute cooldown and like 40-second duration, you're taking half the cooldown and less than half the duration, but it gives you that kill window more often, and you also get passive damage while you're outside of a meta. So I think it's pretty good. Mana Rift, this is the one that kind of people are complaining quite a bit about. You manifest a 6-yard wide Mana Rift under the feet of your target. After 2 seconds, the rift erupts, dealing 8% of the enemy's total health and chaos damage, and destroying 8% of the enemy's total mana if present. In combination with Mana Break is going to be what is absolutely insane with Demon Hunters. Demon Hunters are already getting huge damage buffs, so obviously you have to spend mana to heal through that damage, and then getting mana burned from Mana Rift. From what I understand, I don't see a cooldown. I think the cooldown was 10 seconds. It's going to be really brutal, and then Mana Break is actually getting a damage buff next patch, so you spend mana to heal through Demon Hunters, you get mana burn from Demon Hunters, and then you're going to get mana broken from Demon Hunters, and you're probably going to die immediately. Mana Break now deals 50% of the totals targets 15% of the target's total health and chaos damage. Total health and damage is increased by 1% per 2% of the target's mana missing, up to 30%. So this is let me try and figure out what this is. Total health and damage is increased by 1% per 2% of the target's total missing mana, up to 30%. So is this in combination? So this can only do 45% damage, or can this up to 30% mana missing? Like, how is this up to 45%? So it's going to hit for 45% of your target's HP. It's not 70%. They nerfed it. Okay, so it looks like Mana Break isn't as powerful as I thought it was going to be. 45% health, but it's still going to hit for 45% of your health. 50% of the moment, so it's a small nerf. But it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit for 45% of health, but it's gonna do more damage initially if you're not missing mana. 45% HP instantly. Only 30% of your HP. 30% max. Mana break now does 50% of the target's health. Total health and okay. So it's not up to 30. So it's not I think it's talking about up to 30% of mana missing, which would be increased by 1% per 2%. So that'd be 15 plus 15. So it's only 30% damage every time. The mana, you said 70% before it was changed. Okay, so mana break is not getting buffed anymore. It looks like it's actually getting nerfed. It only does. Remember you said you wanted a low on Shaman? Yeah. Okay, well, mana break isn't actually getting buffed anymore. I still think mana rift might be a problem, but we'll see. Alright, interesting. This is tank, don't really care. Balance. I don't know what that is. Downpour. This made it so I think you took less damage in bear form or something, and they're making it so you take more. Guardian, we don't really care about Guardian. Wow, there's a lot of PvP changes for Guardian. What the hell? Look at all these PvP changes for Guardian. This is the most we've seen. It's weird that they're making so many changes to a tank spec. I just feel like there should be more changes to other specs, but maybe not. Focus growth now also reduces the mana cost of Life Globe. That should be irrelevant. Viper Sting now is a 30-second cooldown. Viper Sting used to remove mana. That's not what that is anymore, right? Scorpion Sting now is a 24-second cooldown. These are all getting buffed. Scorpion Sting now is an 8-second duration, up from 6 seconds. I don't really know what all the stings do, but it looks like they're 4 seconds up for 5. There's 2 duration. Looks like these are all kind of staying the same, maybe slight buffs. Sniper Shot no longer has a cooldown. I don't know what that does. Steel Trap out of combat. Okay. Mages, burst of. Whoa! Did anyone even use this? They're nerfing this talent. They spelled this wrong too. I'm actually really surprised. I feel like normally you don't see errors like this. Cond of Cold damage. All right, Cond of Cold is getting that talent's getting nerfed when I feel like no one already took it. But yeah. Brewmaster, don't really care. Mistweaver Counteract Magic now increases heals for 135% instead of 125. Healing Sphere now has a 15-second charge recovery. I feel like Healing Spheres might actually be pretty good in PvP, so I think that's actually a pretty decent buff instead of the F-use one, but we'll see. Surge of Mist now causes Enveloping Mist to have a 7-second cooldown instead of 8, so that's a little bit of buff. So far, Mistweavers are getting pretty reasonable buffs in my opinion. Way of the Crane now also makes you immune to stun effects. That's actually really interesting. I think that's really powerful. Wow, that's actually really powerful. Way the Crane and Surge of Mist are on the same talent tree. Way the Crane actually has a 45-second cooldown, so that actually gives you a stun immunity every 45 seconds, and I think the healing on it is actually pretty decent. Refreshing Breeze getting nerfed again. I think Refreshing Breeze is already like really far behind, so shouldn't really affect it too much, but this is those are some decent changes. Spinning Fire Blossom now triggers Mastery, okay. Disabling Reach now increases disable range to 10 yards, was 12 yards. Still seems really, really powerful. Zen Moment now costs 3 Wait. Zen Moment. Is that what I think it is? Is that the damage reduction one? Zen Moment. Is that what I think it is? Hold on, I actually want to see something here. Zen Moment? Maybe it's not what I think it is. Control the Mist now occurs every 10 seconds. Was 20 seconds. Control the Mist I don't think will be taken still. I think people are probably going to play Shield Wall or the Tank Brew or whatever it's called. Alright, Paladin's Cleansing Light is a new honor talent replacing Pure of Heart. Pure of Heart getting removed sounds like a good change. Now removes all disease and poison effects within 15 yards of the Paladin. What? That doesn't seem like it's a very clear description. Cleansing Light removes all disease and poison effects within 15 yards of the Paladin. Doesn't that seem like the same thing, just on a shorter range? Interesting. Holy Paladin's template secondary stat. Okay, I don't know what this is because. Wait, I thought this was already in. Avenging Crusader now has a 35% of base mana cost. Was no mana cost. I thought that was already in. Sacrifice no longer cancels Paladin. Okay, that's a good change in my opinion. Oh wow, that's a huge nerf. Ultimate Sacrifice damage transfer periodic is now 4 seconds. Was 12 seconds. This is a huge nerf. So instead of ultimate stack lasting for 12 seconds, ultimate stack only lasts for 4 seconds. That's really big. That's a huge nerf. Oh, it's just on the spell. Cleansing Light removes all disease and poison effects. Okay, that makes sense. That's a huge nerf. That's probably one of the biggest nerfs I've seen so far. Now you can just kind of wait for ultimate stack to fall off and go ham. Fair enough. I think ultimate stack might not even be worth taking anymore, but we'll see. That's not what it says. Ultimate sacrifice damage transfer periodic is now 4 seconds. Was 12 seconds. I think it's only going to be last for 4 seconds instead of 12 seconds, but I could be wrong. I could be misinterpreting it. I don't know the stat distribution like templates, so I don't know if these are good changes or not. I don't really know too much about prod either, so I'm not going to read it. Retribution, strength now 80% down from 85%. Okay, Rat got a little bit of a strength nerf. I don't understand this. Solemn Prayer is removed. Renewed Hope is removed. I don't know anything about Disc Priest, so you Disc Priest can kind of interpret this the way that you want. Just the dot. The dot only lasts 4 seconds instead of 12. That doesn't really make sense to me, because that means you have sack on a person and you only take damage from it for 4 seconds, so that would be a buff. If you guys are interpreting this the right way, that would mean it's a buff in some ways, but it means you could CC the Pally earlier on too, so I don't know. I would need to see how this plays out, because from what I understand, the way I'm seeing it is it's 4 seconds on your target, then you have the 4-second dot, but maybe you take more damage in 4 seconds. I don't really know. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, the Pally takes faster damage. Okay, that might be it. You might be right about that. You're going to be getting nuked. He dies faster. Okay. You might be right about that. New talent Trinity, Strength of Soul, also heals target which you apply power shield to. The duration of your Atonement is increased to 30 seconds, and the healing transfer through Atonement is increased by 20%. That seems really powerful. Atonement can now only affect a maximum of 3 targets. It can only be applied through plea. Okay. I mean, this still seems pretty good, because 30-second Atonement, or 30 seconds on Atonement with 20% more healing to Atonement target seems pretty powerful. Dome of the Light now increases power barrier reduction from 45 to was 25. I don't think that's going to matter if this is a talent or anything. I don't think people are going to take it. I don't think Power Word Barrier is super good in PvP right now. Power Word Fortitude now increasing your maximum health. Power Word Fortitude I don't see being that good, just because purgeable. You have no buffs to protect it. Ultimate Radiance. Don't think this matters.
Oh yeah.
Holy Heal now heals for 200% in
Background
PvP.
music for the changes.
That's a huge buff. I'm not gonna listen to music because I want to maybe put some of this on YouTube. Paramedic now heals for 150% PvP. These are really big changes so far. Delivered from Evil Redesign. Now reduces the cooldown of Leap of Faith by 45 seconds, but no longer creates an absorption shield on target. I don't really know that talent. Holy Ward to 30 seconds from 45 seconds. I think Holy Ward is really good. I think it's a really cool talent. Shorter cooldowns, obviously a big buff. Holy Word Serenity now has 2 charges. Wow, that's actually really good. If I remember correctly, Holy Word Serenity is like your really big heal, so that's really powerful. Rapid Healing now also increases the radius of prayer and mending. Shouldn't matter. Reduce the cooldown of Guardian Spirit by 2 minutes. That seems pretty good. Ray Hope cooldown reduced to 45 seconds from 60 seconds. These are really big holy changes. Wow. Ultimate Radiance is an AoE saving grace. Oh, maybe I didn't understand what it was. These are really big. Greater Heal Redesign. Heal increases the target's total health by 10% for 15 seconds. Stacks up 2 times. These seem like really big holy priest changes. These seem really powerful. That's triple healing in PvP. I don't know what heal actually heals for. That's more healing in PvP. Holy Ward to 30 seconds. 2 charges of Serenity. And heal stacking up your HP. That actually seems really good. But I mean, you got to understand that holy priests don't have fear, which is huge. They might just have to end up being heal bots. That seems like holy priest. I really want to play holy priest, but we'll see. That seems like some pretty big buffs for holy priest. Not really for disc, but is around 600k in PvP. So heal will be a 600k heal And greater heal will give you stamina. Alright, all rogues template stamina is now 100%, was 90%, so rogues got their stamina back. Radius on Fan of Knives doesn't really matter. That's the only PvP change for rogues, was they got their stamina back. Thunder Charge now increases the cooldown oh, wow, whoa! That's crazy! Thunder Charge now increases the cooldown of all recovery abilities by 70%, was 30%. So right now, Thunder Charge is in the same tier as Bloodlust in PvP, so no one takes it. But Thunder Charge increasing the recovery rate of abilities by 70% could be insane. That could work really, really well with certain classes and comps. You know, maybe if you play with a Demon Hunter, you get Mana Break faster, you get your Metamorphosis faster. Maybe you play with a Rogue, you get blind back faster, things like that. That could be really, really powerful. So yeah, if this works on PvP trinkets, that could be really big too. You could, if you play with healers or whatever, you know, you can get Iron Bark back faster, you can get Bark Skin back faster. You can really, really, really throw teams off. You know, if they're going to try and make a hard swap to your Resto Druid, you have no Trinket, you have no Bark Skin. I don't know if it works for Trinket yet. You could Thunder Charge your Druid, maybe get that Bark Skin back, maybe get that skin back or the Trinket back, stuff like that. So, would it work on Chill Streak? It absolutely would work on Chill Streak. So, I don't know if this will be better than Bloodlust. Just based off the simple fact that Bloodlust is absolutely insane in PvP. But 70% to 30% is really, really big, in my opinion. It seems like it could be pretty crazy. It seems like it could be pretty crazy. It says recovery abilities. The cooldown of all recovery abilities. Maybe it's worded wrong, but yeah. Calming Waters moved to level 34, replacing Inner Renewal. That's the Shaman interrupt immunity ability. Earthshield now has a 5-second cooldown. I talked about this a little earlier on my stream. 12-second cooldown was the death of Earthshield. I think 5-second cooldown may make it so Earthshield is still very, very viable. I said I think the worst cooldown that Earthshield could incur while still being viable, I think, was 6 seconds. At 5 seconds, I think it might be at the perfect mark. Sorry, my throat's getting really scratchy. I've been talking for a while. Earthshield now provides 15% damage reduction, was 20%. So it took a 5-second cooldown, which is a nerf. It took a 5% damage reduction cooldown, reduction, decrease or increase, whatever. So also another nerf. Earthshield now triggers at 8% health loss, was 6%, which you would think is a nerf. And Earthshield's no longer dispellable. So this is a nerf. This is a nerf. This is arguably a nerf. I'll talk about that in a second. And then this is a straight up buff. So at a 5-second cooldown with Earthshield undispellable, Earthshield may be better than it is currently. Just to give it some more reliability. The reason that this sounds like it may be a nerf, but I think it's a buff, is because sometimes you put Earthshield on someone and all 3 charges will be gone in 3 to 5 seconds. Just boom, boom, boom. All charges gone really, really, really quickly. So it proccing at a higher percentage of HP makes it so Earthshield may stay up for longer, which obviously seems really important with a 5-second cooldown. So Earthshield right now, to me, is people might try and swap really hard on Earthshield. Yo, he put Earthshield on this guy, swap to the other person. But 5-second cooldown should be, you know, a small enough of a cooldown to make it so it's not super devastating, while also making it have a little bit of kind of like a play around mechanic. You know, you could play off Earthshield a little bit, but the damage reduction was probably needed. Earthshield's mana cost has been increased a little bit. I don't think that should matter too much, but yeah. So Earthshield overall, next patch, I think should still be really powerful. I'm going to talk about Spirit Link in a second. Electrocute damage increased by 20%. Ice Back Electrocute sometimes. The damage buff, it shouldn't matter that much, but it's there. It's nice. I'll take it. Spirit Link, this talent might still be really, really overpowered. It still might trump Earthshield in every way. I think Spirit Link won't last longer than a week or two without getting nerfed, just because it's really, really frustrating to play against. It's going to break CC. It's going to make it really, really, really annoying to play with. I don't see Spirit Link being a good design, but yeah. Spirit Link mana cost reduced and no longer has a cooldown. This is Spirit Link, by the way, not Spirit Link Totem. It's the talent that competes with Earthshield. Link targets now receive 100% increased healing from... Wait, whoa. This might be a tooltip, or this might be written incorrectly, but from what I understand, the Riptide portion of this was changed to Healing Rain. If it actually works on Riptide, that's really, really, really insane. 100% increased healing on Riptide with Torrent is going to be insane. So if they don't change this, or if this isn't written incorrectly, it will be really, really, really broken. Also, you would think Chain Heal, the healing increased, doesn't really matter, but they're getting a new talent, which reduces the cast time of your Chain Heal by 50%, maximum of 2 charges, which is really good. Also, you can use, what's it called? You can use Unleash. Unleash got buffed, so if you unleash a Chain Heal with everyone stacked up with this new Spirit Link talent, you're healing for 100% more than you have the 50% from the Unleash, and this is gonna be insane. I think Spirit Link's gonna end up getting nerfed, but Earth Shield should be a good fallback. I don't really want to play Spirit Link, but I could tell you right now after reading it, it's gonna be insane. 100% healing on Riptide. I would say almost in every single game, Riptide's your number 1 healing spell. For that healing to get increased by 100%, just straight up double, is gonna be insane. Reading this right here this is insane. This is a huge buff. So Healing Wave will heal for double what a Healing Surge does right now. It already heals for 35% more than a Healing Surge, but 200% more from Healing Wave. This is a huge, huge, huge buff for Resto Shaman. I want to say well needed, but maybe it's a little overtuned if I'm being completely honest. Healing Wave healing for 200% more. The reason why it might be a little overtuned is because Healing Wave's already so efficient, and Shamans are already using Healing Wave so much more than Healing Surge. But with all the damage buffs, it's probably not overtuned. But in this current patch, like if it were to come in right now, it may be a little overtuned. But this is a really, really big healing buff. It's gonna make it so, in my opinion, Healing Surge is irrelevant. In my opinion, I think with the double Healing Wave, I don't think you will ever use Healing Surge again, which is probably not correct. Yeah, I actually think Healing Wave with healing for this much, you actually just take Healing Surge off your bar. Unless you really, really, really need a faster heal by just even the smallest percent. But yeah, so Spirit Link is going to make Shamans really broken. Hopefully they don't nerf it in the wrong ways. Earth Shield should be fairly balanced now. Healing Wave might take a little bit of a healing nerf if damage doesn't kind of overshine it. Damage might be so high that you can't tell that Healing Wave is that powerful. But if I understand correctly, if you crit a heal in PvP, it only heals for 150%. So if I were to Healing Surge in PvP for 300k, it would crit for 450k. But if I were to Healing Wave in PvP, I think it would be 600k. It would just be double the 300k. So Healing Wave is actually better than Healing Surge crits. If I understand correctly. I could be wrong. Healing Wave might just be straight up better than Healing Surge crits. So, yeah, that's correct and crazy. So I don't think you'll ever use Healing Surge again. Yeah, so Surge. Yeah, Surge is gone. But to be fair, Healing Wave and Healing Surge were actually like this in Cataclysm. Maybe it was called Lesser Healing Wave back then. I don't know. You never used Healing Surge unless you actually needed the faster cast time. That was the only way you wanted to use Healing Surge. And in every other situation, Healing Wave absolutely just blew Healing Surge's healing out of the water. So this is kind of similar to Cataclysm. Rippling Waters healing increased by 20%. Rippling Waters is the talent that competes with Earthshield and Spirit Link. You just scratch this off the list. It won't ever be used. It doesn't matter if it gives you an extra charge Riptide. It doesn't matter if the healing was increased by 17,000%. Rippling Waters is just bad. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. If it was that much healing, it would be good. But yeah. So Resto Shamans are actually looking really powerful in 7.1.5, which makes me kind of want to level 1 on EU now. Warrior new talent Disarm. I don't know what this talent is going to compete with. Disarm the enemy for 8 seconds. Disarm creatures deal significantly reduced damage. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. Happy to see Warriors get that back. I think that's a really good change. Their strength was reduced by 5%. Don't know what Blood Hunt was. I don't know what Ready for Battle was. Sharpened Blade getting buffed. I think Sharpened Blade was already really close to being insane, but now I think with a 25-second cooldown, if Warriors time Sharpened Blade really well, I think it's going to be really insane. New talent, Storm of Destruction, reduce the cooldown of Blade Storm by 33%. Blade Storm now also applies Mortal Wound to all targets you hit. Wow. That could be really crazy on small maps, man. That could be like on a Dalaran arena or something. You get MS up on everyone, and you have a shorter cooldown on Blade Storm. That sounds really, really scary. Pain Train's now level 8 honor talent. Was 43. Don't know what Pain Train is. Shadow of the Colossus. I don't know what. I know what Shadow of the Colossus is, but I don't know what them switching all this around does. Wrecking Crew removed. New talent, Duel. I heard a lot of talk about this talent. You challenge the target to a duel. While challenged, all damage you and the target deal to all other targets other than each other is reduced by 50%. So, this to me is probably one of the coolest abilities added in this expansion. You know, you're playing WLS, you know, standard Sturge comps, lol. Just kidding. And your target's getting absolutely trained by like an assassination rogue. You challenge that rogue to a duel. If he decides to attack your shaman, he's dealing 50% reduced damage. And if he decides to attack you, it's obviously going to be full. But this is this seems like a really, really cool ability. I'm very happy Warriors are getting something like this. Doesn't seem overpowered. It still gives you the option to attack other people. It's not like an immunity or anything, but yeah. So War Banner is probably going to compete with this. You throw down a banner at your feet, rallying your allies, and increasing movement speed by 30%, reducing duration of all incoming crowd control effects by 50% within 30 yards, last 15 seconds. That makes me want to throw up. That seems really, really overpowered. I don't know what the cooldown is on that. If it's long enough to make the duration and the range not absolutely insane, that seems this seems really overpowered. You throw down a banner at your feet, rallying your allies, and increasing movement speed by 30%. You're getting movement speed. Reducing the duration of all incoming crowd control effects by 50%. 50%. That seems crazy. That seems so crazy. Probably needs a little tweaking. Maybe a little bit of a shorter range. You thought Relentless is bad. That's going to be insane. It's a very cool idea, but it's got to have a long enough cooldown. It's got to have a short enough range. You know what I mean? It's just it's you don't want things to be completely broken, and this seems pretty broken, especially versus heavy CC comps like mages and shadow priests and things like that. Well, mage, shadow priest, whatever. I don't think CC comps are that good right now, but you know, imagine this versus Ret Hunter. Versus Ret Hunter, it actually doesn't seem that overpowered, but just because Ret Hunter is so much frequency CC and it's really obnoxious, but like it's still really sick, you know. They changed this. Enrage reduces damage taken PvP situation by 10% with 20%. I think that's a nerf. Death Wish has a 15-second cooldown, stacks up to 15 times. What the fuck? I don't know what Death Wish is, but that seems crazy. Alright, looks like that's all the PvP changes. Some good, some bad. Demon Hunters aren't going to be as broken as I originally thought. I'm glad I read that. A lot of classes are getting damage buffs. I think the artifact traits going above 34 is going to be really crazy. Wait, we didn't see any of the Warlock PvP changes. Did I miss it? Oh, I did miss it. What the heck? What is all this stuff? I didn't read any of this. Where did all this come from? Oh wait, am I just further up? Oh, what happened to all those new curses Warlocks were getting? Did they remove those? UA Warlocks were getting like new curses and stuff for PvP. I feel like this isn't everything. Let me go to MMO Champion real quick. They're incomplete? Oh, they're incomplete, huh? Alright, so that wasn't even all the changes. Interesting. So this is what was just posted that we just read. So let me just go to Warlock PvP talent calculator right now. Warlocks for Unstable Affliction are getting like new talents, I think. No, they're not showing up here. Maybe they're not actually live. So far, my thoughts in 7.1.5 is almost every single class is going to need a damage nerf in PvP specifically. I think the artifact traits past 34 should not be viable. Like it just shouldn't work past 34. What else? But other than that, I mean, I don't know. The damage buffs on every single class obviously scares me as a healer. Spirit Link is going to be really broken. Really, 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 really broken. But yeah. We spam told you and you said we were trolling? You guys said I was reading wrong patch notes or something, but yeah. Alright, let me catch up on my donations and stuff.